Hi all, Talia from Madeira, USA here. Nancy Minnie, our embroidery expert here at headquarters, is with us today and will be showing us some whens, whys, and hows as far as Madeira's finer thread options. As you may or may not know, our thin threads are available in both classic rayon and polyneon in 60 and, in some cases, 75 weight. Nancy has some great tips, tricks, and examples that she's going to share with us. We'll make sure to go over where and how you can find these specific thread types and get a look at some color options because that's what's important, right? Be sure to say hi if you're watching live. Let us know if you've worked with thinner threads in the past, and if you have any questions, we'll answer them to the best that we can. Well, with that being said, take it away, Nancy.
Thank you, Talia. So actually we'll start right here because here's our beautiful rayon that comes in the 60 weight. So we all know 40 weight is a standard weight thread. Most designs are digitized for 40 weight, and that's what you use on a regular basis. So now I want you to think about thinner threads that we have here. And we have the rayon. I'm going to show you how well these work. I'm going to show you how great they look. And as you can see, and this is even all of the rayon that's up on the wall, just 60 of the probably 85 or so that we have. But also you're going to have your polyester or your polyneon 60 weight, but also you're going to have polyneon 75 weight as well. So it gets a little thinner, and I'm going to talk to you about how, or the things that you have to do in order to take care of it or make it run well. So I have here, I put all 4 threads here. Teddy's going to focus in a little bit, and we're going to take a look at those. So on the top is the 75 weight. These are all polyester. So 75, 60, 40 weight, but also we're going to talk about our frosted mat. Because of the vividness of the colors in the frosted mat, and it is slightly thinner than the 40 weight thread, it also works great for those fine details and small letters as well. Thank you for doing that. And then the first thing we're going to talk about here is our needles. So 65/9 is a great general all-around needle. I typically use that for the 40 weight threads as well, but you especially want to use them for the 60 weight thread. You can go a little smaller on those needles when it comes to the 75 weight. There's a 68 needle that you can use as well, but I like to use the 65/9 because, like I said, you can use it for your 40 weight, your 60 weight, and even your 75 weight, and also your frosted mat. So the green ones are the industrial ones, those are the round ones, and they come in both ballpoint and sharp. The flat-sided needles come on a universal tip. And those guys, you know, there's essentially halfway between a sharp and a ballpoint. So you essentially can use those for everything. So make sure that you adjust your needle. If you're not already using that smaller needle, then you definitely want to. The second thing you have to think about when it comes to the thinner threads, and really all of the threads that are out there, whether they're really thick or really thin like these, digitizing does have to come into effect when you're trying to get the detail that you saw on these stitch outs at the beginning here. These ones were all specially digitized for the thinner weight threads, and all the settings are here for all of the threads here. But in addition to the satin stitch size that they recommend, the stitch density for both types of softwares that are out there, it also gives you the needle size. And this can be found on our website underneath most of the threads. You can click and download this, but if you can't find it, let us know for sure. So let's just look at these guys for a little bit here. Let's see. Don't Bug Me is probably one of my favorite ones. It's been around forever. Pat Williams digitized that for us years ago for the 60 weight thread. And just kind of the detail that you can see in the bugs, the eyes, and things like that. You wouldn't see that with the 40 weight. You wouldn't be able to get that small with it. That's another design that Madeira, Germany did. But just look at these little, real tiny ones. You can see maybe about 1.5 inches tall. Details there, details in that guy. Eric Campbell did this one for us. That was done with the 75 weight. And the details in the baby's face that's in there is pretty cool.
That looks really great.
Yep. And these 3 guys, that's your 40 weight, that's your 60 weight, and 75 weight. So you can just see how much smaller you can get with the same details, if not better, when it comes to those thinner threads. This guy here on the bottom is here. That one's done in 60 weight as well. And this one shows how well 60 weight can do with those really thin column lettering. Doing that with a 40 weight, you might not get that clarity there. And then just a couple other ones here, 60 weight and 75 weight. So you can see it's a little bit smaller, but the same details. And the last one that we'll look on here is this guy, because that's the tone on tone. I always like to get at least one of those in my presentations because it is my favorite one. So it's a satin material. I used the classic rayon 60 weight with that, shrunk the design a little bit, and very elegant looking. So you might be saying, well, do I always have to get it digitized because it's a thinner thread? Absolutely not. If you do your own digitizing, we have the sheet here that you can follow to get the best results. Or if you have a digitizer, you can let the digitizer know and you can share this information with him. So maybe it's just going to be certain elements within the design that are going to be 60 weight, and they can make the adjustments easily for you. So the other element that's really important when it comes to 60 weight is our Easy Aqua Supreme topping. It's a water-soluble topping, and it goes away the minute you put steam or water on it. And this does go on top of the design before you embroider it. This example I'm going to show you right here is our 40 weight. This guy has, I embroidered it, I put the topping on it, and I removed it. This guy down here, I did not use the water-soluble topping on it. And this is a crafting felt. Has a little bit of loft to it, so that's when you would want to use the water-soluble topping at all times. But you can really see how much brighter this one looks. The feathers on the Queen Anne's lace up on the top are very clear. Come over here, they look a little bit more fuzzy. So that's what water-soluble topping can do. So when you're embroidering on the really thin, with the really thin thread, that's going to sink down even more. So it's even more important that you use the water-soluble topping for that as well. I've got a couple more examples here. That's that rendezvous that you saw on the board, and it's on a beanie, and no water-soluble topping there. Water-soluble topping there, and you can see how it kind of held that thread up on top. It makes it look a lot better. So those really thin letters, they want to kind of get lost there and they get a little fuzzy.
That looks really great. You can definitely tell that the one with the water-soluble topping is a lot more crisp looking.
Yep. So hopefully I've sold you on water-soluble topping when it comes to our thin threads. So we'll move on from that. Most of the embroidery that I did here, I used the Easy Waffle tearaway. That has those little perforations on it. Sometimes people call it pop away out there because when you go to tear it, it has that pop away. So a lot of these on the back side, you're going to see that's what I used because it was felt. I didn't need a lot of stabilizing on it. And the thing I like about it the best is that you can get rid of just about all of it. So that's what I used for a lot of the things that I'm doing here today. When it comes to the t-shirt, you got your Weblon no-show. And I'm going to show you how I use 2 pieces of Weblon no-show, a light tearaway on the bottom, and Aqua on the top, and it made a huge difference. So I'm going to put that with the t-shirt for now. This is just an example. So when I said that you don't always have to digitize for the 60 weight, this is a stock design with designs, creations by Kara. This is the actual size of the design right here. I did it in 40 weight in those 3 colors. I shrunk the design down, I don't know, maybe 80%, down to 80%, did the 60 weight thread there. Came out really nice and clear. Made it even smaller, keeping the same amount of stitches in the design. Put the 75 weight in there, and you can just see how much more delicate it looks and came out. So I did that with quite a few designs here. That's one. This feather design was originally about this big. Shrunk it down. You can see the feathers, or the feather itself looks really pretty, and you can see a lot of detail in there.
That looks really great. It gives it some really great texture as well.
It does. I love the colors that are in there as well. They're really pretty. So that design, we have another design here. I showed you this in the 40 weight thread. Here it is in the 60 weight. So that's our 60 weight thread. here it is. I'm going to do the 75 weight next. So I just made it a little smaller again for the 75 weight. And notice how it's so thin that on the black, I think it almost has a little bit of a gray look to it. And maybe you like that, maybe you don't. It depends on what you like. If you want it to be even a little more vivid, consider our frosted matte thread. So that's 60 weight polyester, 40 weight frosted matte, and you can just see how that kind of pops off of the felt itself. And that's why we call it high definition, and because it really has vivid colors on there. So speaking of frosted matte, I've got a t-shirt here I did with these 4 colors here. I used, on the first one I just used 1 layer of the Weblon no-show on the back of it. I put 3 on here. The second one I used 2 pieces of Weblon, and the third piece I used the 2 pieces of Weblon on the bottom. I put 1 lightweight layer of the lightweight tearaway on the bottom. I hooped it, and then I put a piece of the Aqua on top. I embroidered it, and you can actually see the improvement as I move from one to the other. So that's the first one. This is the second one here. And I think you can especially see it like up in here. Notice how that is so perfectly straight. It's not jagged at all. Here it's a little bit jagged.
Oh, yep.
Not filled in quite as much in here. And that was the result of using the 2 layers of the Weblon, the 1 layer of the tearaway, and the topping as well. So combined, it made a really great kind of design in the back. So when it comes to frosted matte, it's a 40 weight thread, but it really is a little bit on the thinner side than a regular 40 weight thread. So I had this t-shirt, which is pretty lightweight. So consider your frosted matte when you're embroidering on fabric like this, because it's not going to be able to take a lot of stitches. And the less stitches you put on it, the better the design can look. So I didn't adjust the size of this design at all. It was as is, and I think it's really cute. When it comes to whether it's the 65 weight, 75 weight, or your 40 weight, many of the colors can be used the same color in a different weight thread. So here I have this design that's I think it's about 5 inches by 5 inches. Made it a little smaller. This is 40 weight. That brown, 1659. I did the 60 weight, same color, went a little smaller with the 75 weight, same brown, and made it smaller. So I was able to use that one design, 3 different threads, and kind of made a cute little bag there.
That looks great.
Yeah. The last one I'm going to show you is my little pillow book nook that I have here. So this design here is really cute, and it's good size design, and all 1 color. So this one I did on the black on the taupe, made it a little smaller for the 60 weight and even smaller for the 75 weight. Just a great set of pillows, 3 different sizes, kind of cute. So that kind of covers what I wanted to cover today. So let us know if you have any questions. We'll be following you as you ask them, and we will answer them as quickly as we can.
Thanks so much, Nancy. Of course, the 60 and 75 weight and the corresponding needles mentioned today are available right on MadeiraUSA.com. Or if you'd like to call in, call to 800-225-3001 to add it to your next order. That's all from us for now. Thanks so much for your time, attention, and interaction this afternoon. Make sure to check back here for more videos on tips and tricks. We are Madeira USA, and we'll see you soon.